So I literally just I watched the most vile movie ever made in the history of cinema. Now everyone since I watched it, now everyone has to suffer. So similar to my Terrifier video, this video starts with me just I'm scrolling through Tubi trying to find something to watch. Like most people, and I come across a movie called Lolita. I read the description, it says about an older man who becomes obsessed with some teenage girl. There were like two versions of this movie, believe it or not. The novel, the source material, just so good that they had to make this shit twice. I can guarantee you they're not remaking this shit a third time though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm about to watch some Chris Hansen shit. Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. The movie starts off already unhinged with the alleged PDF bloodied up and disoriented while driving. It's like, oh, I wonder how we got here. The story goes back to the past where the story the story's kind enough to explain to us why this man became a weirdo. So the main character is named Humbert. Humbert, or that's what we're gonna call him, Humbert. As a teen, he's in love. He's in love until his the love of his life, his childhood love dies of typhus or some weak ass shit, some dumbass illness that no one would die from today. Shorty unfortunately was born in the wrong era. What can I say? Typhus stole his bitch. That's rough. So now he's stuck being attracted to 9 to 14-year-old girls. Because his girlfriend died when he was a kid or some sob story. So we go into the future where Humberg is looking for a place to stay. Some MILF that's clearly into Humbert offers him a place to stay for the cheap. And something about a fully grown, fully developed woman disgusts him. It's throwing him off. She's literally throwing herself at him, and it just throws his entire vibe off. He's like, nah, I need to get up out of here, bro. Too many grown bitches threatening to throw me pussy. I can't deal with that. He's like, I'm good on the room, and he's right about to leave in fear, actually. Like he's about to leave the house in fear of wrong coochie. But then at the last minute, he sees her 14-year-old daughter, Lolita, who is looking at she's not reading, she's looking at some book because it's like a picture book. If I remember correctly, she's looking at some book underneath a sprinkler for whatever reason, getting the entire book wet. Humberg is just in there like, wait, hold up. I didn't know y'all had bad bitches here. They got bad underage. They got underage fine shit here. Nah, how much was that room again? Bro was ready to pay triple. The actress is a little too good because I was convinced she was literally a 12-year-old at the beginning. The way she was acting, like there's a scene where she's sitting on Humberg's lap and places her chewing gum on his notebook, trying to be annoying and hoping to get a reaction. Shit kind of remind me of some shit. Your little sister or someone else's daughter. Some dumb shit, some shit they might do. But Humberg was too bricked up to even care. Most people would be annoyed, but he was in heaven. There's even a scene where the mother makes Humberg breakfast and tells Lolita to bring it to him, which she does after eating all his bacon. Like, nigga, what? Nigga, I'd be so mad. Like, cause what the fuck you mean you ate my bacon? But weird ass Humberg he's so obsessed with her. He don't even care. He don't even care. He just lost out on 3, 4 pieces of bacon. She didn't even leave him one. Humberg and Lolita grow closer though, so close that her mother had to call ISO on Humberg and send her to some all girl prep school or something. Humberg was, needless to say, heartbroken. Like, bro was about to lose underage fine shit. Humberg looking at her mom like, why are you always cock blocking? Like, sir, she's not cock blocking. She's trying to redirect your cock to a more legal area. So let me get into the scene that had me googling. I had to start googling ages of these actors. I ain't gonna lie. So before Lolita leaves to her little school, her prep school or whatever, She runs to say goodbye to Humberg. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to be one of those comedy funny scenes where he thinks she's running into the crib to say bye to him, but really she just forgot something or whatever. But sadly, no, she generally went to say bye. And not just say bye, give him like a little hug or just say bye. No, she jumped on him and gave him a passionate kiss. And I was like, hold the fuck up. What is going on here? She left Hamburg in a euphoric, orgasmic daze. Like, man, what is we doing? I had to start googling this actress's age. Apparently, she was like 15 to 17. Yeah, 15 to 17 through the entire process of casting, filming this movie, and it coming out. So, yeah, do with that information what you will. I love how in the novel she was 12, but they're like, no, we'll make her 14 instead. Like, that's any better. The actress, I would have thought, if you would have told me that she was 12, I would have believed that. Especially at the beginning of this movie, she was playing the hell out of that underage role. Probably because she was underage, but after she leaves, he just sits in her room, laying in her clothes, marinating in her clothes, mourning the loss of prepubescent fine shit. Black Nanny comes in there looking at bro like he's on some creep shit. Like, like which is accurate, he is in her room creeping. Now, but it is what it is. So now that her number one competitor is gone, the mom finally makes her move, writing him a letter about how she loves him and he needs to leave her house. But if he doesn't leave, she's going to take it as a sign that he's ready to marry her and be a father to her daughter. Man, he's ready to be more than just a father to her. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So naturally, he leaves. He doesn't like the mom and realizes his obsession with Lolita is inappropriate, and he goes to get help. Psych, nah, he marries the mom. This is how obsessed he is with Lolita. He doesn't even like the mom. He's actually really disgusted by her for whatever reason, probably because she's a grown adult. And we'll get into that too. He was so not into this woman to the point where he had to go out and get drugs in order to drug her at night so he wouldn't have to have sex with her. Do you know how do you know how hard why would you go to that trouble just to avoid pussy? You know how badly you would have to not like grown women? He was like, damn, I got these drugs to drug your daughter for, the complete opposite reasons that I'm drugging you. But hey, at least they're not going to waste. He was so not into her that I had to do research. Like, is this what I'm supposed to not be attractive or something? The actor herself has a voice that I hate, but she's not bad on the eyes. Like, so it left me confused. She's looked like a modernly attractive woman to me. So according to the novel, I don't know. I'm not really trying to do all that research. I'm not gonna lie, but according to the novel, I'm just pretend like what I'm about to say is true. She's an average, moderately attractive woman. So this nigga just don't like grown, fully developed coochie. He likes prepubescent coochie. Coochie that's still evolving, still developing. So after a while of being together, the mom discovers Humberg's book he was writing where he now get this. This dumbass writes about his obsession with her daughter Lolita and his disdain for her, which naturally left her devastated and disgusted, wanting a divorce. Now, the mother does seem to have some weird jealousy of her daughter or something, acting like it's her fault that this man's a creep and that she fell for a creep, but whatever, I'm gonna skip past that. It's weird because she offered to let him keep the house, and I'm confused because why? What right would he have to your house? Y'all been married for a few weeks. He was a tenant. But whatever. Humphrey desperately tries to gaslight her into believing she didn't read what she just literally read. She wasn't going for any of that. She wasn't going for the spin. Humberg left the room for a split second to get her some alcohol. I don't know, maybe his plan was to get her so drunk that she forgets what she just read. But within that split second, she had ran outside to mail the letters to Lolita, exposing Humberg as a weirdo, only to get ran over and die. Like, what was going on, nigga? What Satan was really looking after Humberg here. Satan said, "Hold up, I like the way you moving, Muddy." Like, bro just started doing Satan's work, and he can't let the story end here. At first, he's shaken by her death, but then he realizes the situation he's in. He realized, like, damn, Satan just really threw me an alley oop. The only person who knows he's a child enthusiast is dead, and now he's legally Lolita's sole guardian. You couldn't have given him a better situation. He destroys the letters the mom was going to mail exposing him. You gotta destroy those. He praises Satan, then expeditiously goes to take Lolita out of her little prep school. Nigga, that's like the first thing that came to his mind. Like, oh, I gotta go scoop a bay. So as soon as he gets her, they pull over and start making out immediately. He like wastes no time, bro. Couldn't even make it to a home or to a hotel or something. They eventually stop at some hotel because Humberg really can't wait to drug her and abuse her. So they run into, I guess, a playwright or something, playwriter, who seems to be of the same ilk as Humberg, if you get what I'm saying. His name is Quilty. Very important character. Quilty is sitting there eyeing Lolita like, damn, that's a fine piece of merchandise you got there, sir. Humberg's sitting there like, hey, keep that weird shit over there, nigga. Nigga, I'm her abuser, nigga. That position's already been taken. So it's like, I guess one artist appreciating another artist's work, but you gotta stay in your lane. So Humberg rushes her to bed. He really couldn't wait for her to get to sleep. I wonder why. But unfortunately, the drugs didn't work too well. But fortunately, he didn't even really need them to take advantage of her. You know, After a night of molesting his legal daughter, the next morning Lolita wants to call her mom, who Humberg lied and said was in the hospital. Since Humberg got what he got a little bit ahead last night, so he went ahead and told her the truth. He got what he wanted, so it's pointless. He told her that she's dead. Unfortunately, you couldn't tell her the night before. You can't really crack it. She's too busy mourning her mom. Am I right? So, but he got some head, so he's ready to tell her your mom's dead. Lolita spends the rest of the day crying, and Humberg is just sitting there to the side, like, damn, that's crazy. They begin traveling and eventually settle somewhere in New England or something, where Humberg and Lolita assume the role of father and daughter. Humberg enrolls her in another all-girls school because he doesn't want her around any boys. He's very controlling at this point. Lolita becomes uninterested in Humberg because why wouldn't she? I mean, in Humberg's, he's very controlling. His controlling nature doesn't really help either. She's a teenager. She wants to hang out with her friends and talk to boys her own age, not hang out with your old ass all day. Lolita, tired of Humberg's controlling and understanding Humberg is a creep at this point, starts exchanging favors for more freedom. And when I say favors, I mean like sexual favors. So, you know, and she would do this like for allowance or, being allowed to be in the school play, because he wouldn't even allow her to be in the school play for whatever reason, which is quite, the scene of her seducing him is quite pathetic. Like, or at least, yeah, it's quite pathetic to watch in the movie. Bro couldn't properly groom a little girl and had to start paying for it. Diabolically shameful. Humbert's controlling nature finally comes to a head with Lolita, leading to a heated argument where he slaps her and she runs away, accusing him of killing her mother. He eventually finds her where they, I guess, make up, supposedly, and agree to travel together once again, which at first Humberg is happy, as happy as can be, but he doesn't really understand she's planning her escape. She's secretly meeting with Quilty, who I guess got close to her because he was the one who wrote the play at her school that, she was trying to perform. I don't know. I can't blame her for wanting to be free of Humberg, but to go from one creep to another is wild. Humberg quickly becomes paranoid, suspecting Lolita is backdooring him. The thought of someone taking her away from him is literally just driving him crazy at this point. So at some point, she gets sick and goes to the hospital. Well, Quilty checks her out, pretending to be her uncle or something. I don't know. Can you even do that? Humbert starts crashing out, and they're acting like he's bugging. For all intents and purposes, y'all just let a random trafficker take his kid. Yes, Humbert is also a weirdo, but they don't know that. Humbert spends like the next 2 or whatever years depressed and looking for Lolita, trying to kill shit. I was going to ask, like, why didn't he call the cops and report her as kidnapped or a runaway or something? But then I realized this nigga is terrified of the police. What's he gonna say? Hello, officers. Some creep stole the little girl I was already grooming. Bro had no choice but to get it back in blood. Apparently, in the novel, he got into like another relationship. I'm guessing it didn't really work out because the woman was just, that a woman. Her constant agent was pissing him off. After some time, Lolita eventually goes broke and needs money, so she reconnects with Humberg, who manages to track her location somehow. And bro was on drill time. Nigga was playing Finito by Chief Keef on the drive to her house, cause he was about to do Quilty the worst. But she's far away from Quilty at this point. Like she's not fucking with him at this point. Or I guess she is fucking with him, but he's not fucking with her. So during his conversation with Lolita, we learn some info about Quilty. Apparently, Lolita was in love with Quilty, but he kicked her out because she wouldn't perform in his homemade videos. If you get what I'm getting at, this is like this is the man you left Humberg for like. And I mean, I kind of get it. Both are scum, one maybe more than the other. But unlike Humber, Quilty allowed her, the choice to just leave, I guess. So he was scum, but he didn't dress it up as love, I guess. It's funny. She's sitting there talking about how much she really loved Quilty, and Humber is just like, well, what about me? And then there's just this awkward silence. Lolita doesn't say it, but you can see the nigga please on her face. Humberg, still in love, asks a pregnant Lolita to leave her current man, and she's like, oh, honey. No, 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 stop it. Saying she'd rather go with Quilty. Damn, bro, imagine a woman rather wanting to be with a child trafficker than you. I might would just have to call it in existence, I ain't gonna lie. After getting brutally rejected. Because you know what? I ain't gonna lie. She didn't have to even say all that. She could have just said no. She could have just said, I'm not leaving my husband. We're about to have a baby. This or that. She said, nah, I don't want to go with you. I would rather fucking go with the child, with the cheese pizza enthusiast. Nigga, that's just crazy. So after getting brutally rejected, he gives her the money she wanted and asks for forgiveness, which she she does forgive him, acknowledging him as her dad. But that's all he's getting out of that. We're not done yet though, because Humbert the pervert is still on drill time. He puts on a shiesty and drives to Quilty, who is just some wacko drugged up old loser. What did Lolita love about bro? Like, I'm serious. Like, keep in mind, this nigga was writing perverted ass plays for an all girl Catholic school. But you know what? It's shiesty season though. Humper runs in the crib, strapped on some gang shit. Humper like, bro, you stole my number one victim. I gotta do it to you. Humper says some weird shit like he has to die because he stole his redemption, whatever that means. Like, bro, there's no redemption for your kind, not in this lifetime, anyways. So Humber guns down Quilty in the weirdest way, but now we're at the point where, the movie starts. We're back at the beginning where Humberg was, driving around bloodied up, disoriented, and whatnot. And, all of that was from a successful drill. So Humber goes to jail and dies. He dies of something. I don't know. I'll just say cancer. Like, he died of something. Who cares? shortly after Lolita dies in childbirth. Nigga, is that shit supposed to be romantic or poetic? What the fuck?